Hey everyone, so welcome to our Monday TIP Today in Prophecy, our daily news update. News in 15 minutes or less. Well, you can tell I'm in a different place than normal. I'm actually here in Seattle, in the area that was formerly known as Chaz. You might remember that. They tried to develop their own country. They even put up borders. Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, Chaz, also known as Capitol Hill Organized Protest, or CHOP. Remember that? Chaz and CHOP, they trapped the police inside their own precinct here and tried to board up where they couldn't get out, and they had to kick their way out. That was in 2020 following all part of the George Floyd protests. And then they even had their own borders set up where only certain people are allowed to get in while they protested having borders in the southern part of the United States. Very fascinating, a terrible time in American history, but listen, this stuff is still going on all over the place, and I'm gonna show you, I'll make some connections in a few minutes on why we're here in Seattle doing this, and in Chaz, I'm up here for some conference speaking, so I'll be updating you all week from different areas. But with that, I'll connect the dots for Chaz for us as we go through some news. But let's go to the big news first of all. It's Israel, and as we look at things, this is my opinion, and I think most people are gonna agree with me. It seems like we are on the verge of a massive war regarding Israel and Iran. Also, there's very real threats right here in the United States coming from Iran. Actually, I'm not going to get too much into that right now, but they are real, they are big, and whether it happens in August, whether it happens today, whether it's begun by the time we're doing this broadcast, or it doesn't happen until the election, it appears that it is about ready to just be a massive war regarding Israel. Now, we know that Israel had taken out some key leaders from both Hamas and Hezbollah, and the leader of Hamas was in Iran. He was taken out there in a very secure, a highly secure place, a place where the radical leaders would go to and be protected, but Israel was able to take him out, and it appears that he was also the bodyguard, and again, this is still early information, more will come out. We may not get all of the facts on this anytime soon because information keeps changing, but it appears the bodyguard that was with the leader of Hamas, he was working with Israel, knowing he was going to die in the process of the Hamas leader being taken out. Very strategic hits on these different leaders from these radical Islamic groups. But these assassinations against Iran's proxies is a humiliation, says Ynet News, and they're correct. The Ayatollahs cannot afford. So again, we're hearing about threats right here within the United States against political leaders and others of influence from people who have crossed the border in the south part of the United States, Iranian operatives in here in the United States. But as we look at this, we think of all of these different things that are developing. Also, Iran is threatening a 9th of Av, says the Jerusalem Post, a 9th of Av attack against Israel. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, the 9th of Av this year is August 12 and 13, but the 9th of Av marks 2 days of great destruction in Israel's past when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple back at the time of his invasion, 586 BC, and then also again at the time of Titus in 70 AD when both temples were destroyed. Great days of destruction for the nation of Israel and the Jewish people. Iran is saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this on the 9th of Av. Huge attack coming against Israel. So these are big deals. And Khomeini, after Khomeini commands strike on Israel in response to Haniyeh's elimination, there's a serious preparation in Israel for attack, even right now, attack on several fronts within the next few days. So whether or not the attack has already started happening right now while we have this broadcast, or whatever is coming in the very near future, folks, we are on the verge of great war. Okay, so I promise, news in 15 minutes or less. Let's switch to a little bit more. So this is huge. Trump, says Gateway Pundit, goes there, republishes social media post that links Chris Wray and the FBI to his assassination attempt. Wow, this is huge. Trump linking that on a social media post. Fascinating, check it out. Gateway Pundit for more information, but I want to get to a few more things. All right, so as we look at this, and I'm thinking, while we're here in Chaz, DC Drano posted illegals able to register to vote and already voted in some cases, on the record as doing this. He actually did some interviews, or his people did, or some people connected with them. And as I look at this, what's going on here, we think, why are our borders open? Well, you let in Iranian operatives, we've let in Chinese nationals, we've let in Somalis, we've let in Hamas people, and also with all of the Mexicans coming across the border in the south, you also have illegal votes coming. So you have this different dynamic that is taking place, and we have the evidence of it too. And check this out. Things are so bad though, even in the Silicon Valley, former leftists in Silicon Valley are distancing themselves from the woke leftists of the Democratic Party. Check it out. Former PayPal CEO announces he is switching parties. People said, man, we've had it with this. They can see the places like this, where here we are in the place formerly known as Chaz, and you look at the country's just gone so woke in so many places. Finally, there is some pushback on this. Okay. As I mentioned, news in 15 minutes or less. Let's keep moving through this. Check it out. The U.S. military is in deep, deep trouble. I look at this, some of the things that are going on. I got to read part of this to you because it's just an absolute mind blower. Hold on here just a second. Check it out. Underreported, let me read this to you. Eric Edelman, the vice chair of the National Defense Strategy Commission, told top Senate lawmakers on the Armed Services Committee that recruiting failures have shrunk the force and have raised serious questions about the sustainability of the all-volunteer force in peacetime, let alone if we had to mobilize for a major conflict or protracted event. Other takeaways, Senate Armed Services Chairman Jack Reed asked if Edelman agreed that the size of the U.S. military is too small, and if the ability of the U.S. to expand rapidly is weak. Edelman said he agreed and added, we have not really, as a society, talked about the need for national mobilization, but if the worst were to happen, and if we were to face a global conflict, it would require mobilization on the scale of World War II, and basically we are not ready for it. This just pretends great disaster. So imagine as we watch what's going on in Israel, then you see what's going on here with the threats within the United States, and we have a place like this as a good reminder for the problems that we have within the United States, and then terrorist attacks happening. Oh man, you look at everything, you say, we are in trouble, this world is in trouble, while we're on the verge of another world war. Then we have threats of another pandemic, not just the bird flu or the rise in COVID, but also we have the threats of this other pandemic, check it out, coming out of Bakersfield, California, Valley fever. And I'm reading this, I sent this off to one of my friends, Pastor Brandon Holthouse. I said, man, everything's coming out of Bakersfield, California. But we have all of these different threats. And then finally, let me share you this. Pope Francis, check this out, tells pro-LGBT conference, I will be spiritually with all of you. Reporting on LifeSite News. Reading this, what the Pope says is basically, check this out, Pope Francis has once again sent a handwritten letter of support to Father James Martin, SJ, promising his closeness with the priest's pro-LGBT outreach conference being held this weekend. Shortly before the commencement of its 2024 conference held at Georgetown University, Outreach published a photo of the handwritten letter sent from the Pope to Martin. Here's the exact words of the letter. You ready? Dear brother, thank you very much for your email. I'm glad that Cardinal Gregory will celebrate the Mass. I will be spiritually with him and with all of you united in prayer. Thank you for praying for me. I do the same for you. May Jesus bless you and the Holy Virgin care for you fraternally, Francis. He's talking about blessing this, the LGBT movement within the Catholic Church, saying, may Jesus bless you. God bless you guys. News in 15 minutes or less. And listen, we'll be on location again. Join me Tuesday and pray. Listen, everybody, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Big news breaking out all over. I'll keep you updated.